What's going on, guys? It's simple. I'm back today with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the relic system within Black Ops 7 Zombies, and more specifically, how I would change a lot of the relics in the game. To be honest, with the way Black Ops 7 Cursed Mode is looking in the relic system, I really don't think it's going to have much of a longevity to it, specifically with the way some of the augments are set up. I feel like a lot of people don't think that they're really fun to use, and today I'm just going to be talking about how I would rework a lot of those relics to be more fun and interactive to equip and use. So just for a quick disclaimer, if I say augment at any point in the video, I'm referring to a relic, so excuse me if I misspeak. And then I'm also going to quickly go over Curse Mode and the Relic system for those who might not be familiar. So Curse Mode is essentially supposed to be a hardcore mode for Black Ops 7 Zombies. The way it works is you start with a starting pistol instead of a loadout. It is inspired by the Black Ops 3 point system, so it does bring back classic point system. And then you also have minimal HUD equipped, but the main appeal to Black Ops 7 Curse Mode is the Relic system. So there are hidden relics, and for each relic that you find and equip, there's going to be basically a debuff that makes your game harder. And the more relics that you have on, there are 3 tiers in the game. For each tier, you get a something that helps you out within the game. So the first tier is golden armor. The second tier is ultra rarity, so past legendary, and then the third tier is tier 4 pack a punch. So again, you find these hidden relics, the more you equip, and there's more rewards you can get through the tiers in the Curse Mode. There's 3 tiers total. So just to get right into it, there are 3 tiers of actual relics. So there's Grim being the lowest, Sinister being the middle, and then Wicked being the highest / harder tiers of relics. So we're going to be starting off with the Grim relics. So as I start out with the first relic, I do want to also preface that some of these relics may not, I would say, like necessarily need a rework, as you'll see more into the video. Some of these I don't think needs to be like reworked mainly, but I will be providing a rework for the sake of providing a rework. And I will say like, hey, I don't think this needs a rework, but I'm just saying, hey, if you were to rework this, here's how I would do it. And also obviously some of the ones where I do think needs a huge rework, I will say what I think needs reworked. Also, I will be talking about how some of the relics, I do believe, I think one way they could make the relic system interesting is either A, and B, but A, if maybe having certain relics would disable equipping another relic because they're not compatible, or I would have it to where maybe the rules of one relic could override the relic of another. So again, as I go through the relics, I'll be talking about, hey, this is where I think this could maybe apply here, just to have some ideas flowing as to, just fun ways to rework the relic system. So the first relic we actually have is the Lawyer's Pen relic in the Grim tier. What that does, it makes mimics spawn in the world. So if you're not aware what mimics are, they are mobs that essentially when you kill a zombie, they disguise themselves as ground loot. So what will look like ground loot, once you get to it or near it or try to interact with it, a mimic will spawn, and they're pretty annoying because they have these grab attacks that will reel you in for a second and do a good amount of damage. And then they also, they're shock mimics, so what they'll do is if you throw down equipment, they'll disable it, or if you get near them, they'll also like drop like an EMP field around you sometimes. By default, they usually don't spawn. They spawn on some steps on the Astro Malorum Easter egg, specifically towards the boss fight and at the end of it. But by default, they don't spawn, so the Lawyer's Pen will make them spawn. The 2 reworks I would do for this one, just to keep it plain and simple. The first one is I would just make them only start spawning in after a certain round. So they start spawning in by round 1. Like you start killing zombies round 1, they'll start spawning. But I would just have them spawn in after the first Ravager round. So that would be round 6. So just have them start spawning at round 7, just so like those early rounds aren't like super duper annoying, because it feels like you just have to immediately grab a weapon, which takes away kind of from point farming and stuff in Curse Mode. So I would just have them start spawning in at round 7 after the first Ravager round. The other rework I would do is maybe put a cap to how many spawn per round, because again, they spawn by killing zombies who like drop loot that might be fate loot. fake loot. So once you start killing them, a bunch will start spawning around, and it's really annoying. So if there isn't a cap already, not that I've noticed personally, I would put a cap onto how many could spawn around. I'm not gonna give a number because I don't really know how much spawn at a time, but it does feel like a lot, and it does get pretty overwhelming. So I would just say put a limit on how many will spawn during a round. So the next Grim Relic that we have is actually the Dragon Wings. So what this does is normal power-ups are disabled. Now for this one, I probably won't have really a rework for this. Not that any that I really could think of. The main one I would provide for the sake of providing a rework is if you're familiar with the side Easter eggs where you can go around and shoot the drops that like are just hidden around the map. Those are usually like a one and done that you can't like do after you shoot them the first time and get them. So for this one, I would say just for the sake of providing something, maybe equipping this relic will actually give the ability for those drops to respawn every certain amount of rounds. So I don't have a specific number, maybe like every 5 rounds, every 10 rounds or something like that. But again, this is one I just think is fairly balanced. I know for a lot of people it's really annoying, and I agree, but it's one of those challenges where I think it's a decent challenge. Plus you also have gobble gums if you're willing to use them. But for this one, again, if I were to provide a decent or just an idea, I would say maybe those drops around the map, if you shoot them, then they have a chance to respawn every certain amount of rounds, but only if you have this relic equipped. So moving on, the next Grim Relic is the Teddy Bear Relic. So for this one, the round delay is cut by 75%. What that means is the zombies start spawning in faster in between rounds. So similar to where you have Rampage Inducer on. So for this one, again, I think it's fairly balanced. There's not much I would personally change here. For the sake of giving a change, I would just say because we already have Rampage Inducer, maybe the Teddy Bear Relic you can like reduce to 65% instead of 75%. That would really be my only change, is just slightly reducing the round cut delay, maybe even just 70%. I don't know if that'd be like noticeable for most people, but again, just because we already have the Rampage Inducer, I would just throw this one as a changing for changing's sake, and the only change I would do is just reduce the round cut delay, or I guess increase to 65 or 70%. So the fourth relic we actually haven't found yet. This is one of the hidden ones on Astra Malorum. This is the Gong Relic. So what this one does is you start with a field upgrade fully charged, but the only way to refill them is through full power. So normal kills don't recharge them. You can only get them through full powers. Now, to start, this is one where, again, at face value, because we haven't found it yet, I think this one sounds perfectly balanced. It wouldn't be too annoying. But this is where I'm going to start entertaining the idea of what if relics could override other relics. So if I were to change this one, again, for the sake of change, what if you had this one equipped with the Dragon Wings relic? Now, from the Dragon Wings, we know that normal power-ups are disabled, so you'll never get a full power. But what if you equip the Gong Relic, and now if you have these two equipped, what if only Gong Relics will spawn? So I think that would be like a pretty cool way to just interact with other relics. Now, because they did change up the way that drops work in Black Ops 7, I'm not saying I want only or only full powers can spawn, so you get 4 full powers in a round. I'm not saying that. I still want it to be there's just a chance for a full one full power to drop every round or something like that. And again, it's a chance, so it's not like you're guaranteed. Or similar to what I mentioned in the Dragon Wings relic, what if you do the full power side Easter egg quest, and if you have the Gong relic equipped, what if shooting it every certain amount of rounds will make it so that can actually respawn? I think that would be a pretty cool idea, just to shake up the relics, make either of them interact with another, or if you had it to where even if you don't have the Dragon Wings equipped, what if there's a chance for the full power side quests drop to respawn every few rounds. So again, for the sake of changing is why I provided something like this, and again, I think it's a cool way for relics to interact with other ones, but at face value, I don't think this one really sounds like it needs much of a change. Alright, so the last Grim Relic we have, there's still more relics, but the last Grim one is the Seed Relic. and that one is where the mystery box is disabled. So this one I usually run. It's pretty not like game breaking to run, because honestly a lot of guns are viable in Black Ops 7, so any like wall weapon is pretty good to use in my opinion. So this one I usually put on by default with no problem. So with this one, again, I think at face value is perfectly fine, but for the sake of providing a change, if you don't know already, by default for the fire cell drop, the only way to get the first fire cell is by moving the box, which you have to hit the box, get Mr. Peaks, and then once it moves to another location is when you first get a fire cell. So what if this one, because the mystery box is disabled by default, what if it actually starts adding the fire cell drop onto the into the rotation of your normal drops? Now this is not including having the dragon wings, of course, because with the dragon wings all normal power-ups are disabled. But what if for this one you have your drops dropping like normal, but if you have the seed relic, even though you can't hit the mystery box by default, what if by default they just start putting in the fire cell in the rotation, so that anytime you get the fire cell, it actually starts showing mystery boxes in the world. So this one, again, isn't too game breaking. Actually, the game is broken right now, because even if you equip the seed relic, sometimes a mystery box will still spawn in your games. And even if it doesn't spawn by default, which is as intended, sometimes if you load a save file, then the mystery box will sometimes be there once you load a save file. So funny enough, this one is broken right now, but again, if working as intended, what if like by default you can't get the mystery box as intended, but what if like the fire cell starts dropping in the normal rotation? Now, would I want that to work with the dragon wings if you have normal power-ups disabled? I would say arguably not, because the fire cell doesn't even start dropping until you get the first box moved anyway. So I don't think this is like the Gong, where I would say it would override the wings relic, to where like, let's say you have dragon wings, Gong, and seed. Now you only get fire cells and field upgrades, or field full powers. I don't think it should work like that. I just think this would only apply if you don't have the dragon wings on, of course, so that fire cells will just drop in the rotation, so you can only hit the box through fire cells. So moving on, that's the last of the Grim relics, and now we have the Sinister. Again, this is like the middle tier, semi-difficult relics. So for the first Sinister relic, we actually have the Vril Spear. This one is the one that gives you like your traditional 4 perk limit. So for this one, a lot of people don't really mind it, because you can get additional perks through side quests. Specifically right now, the most consistent way to get past the 4 perk limit is through TED tasks. So if you get the max rarity or tier on the TED task, then you're guaranteed a free mystery perk. Besides that, I think if you get free perks through like side Easter eggs, like the plants, the crystals on Ashes of the Dam, and even like the records on Astra Malorum, I think it's either just not consistent or maybe bugged with the type of way you obtain the free perk, where like it'll actually replace one of your first purchase perks instead of like give you, or like overriding the perk limit. So this one, I'm not sure if it's like bugged or just inconsistent, but basically the way I would just rework this is have it consistent, where any and all free perk side Easter egg through TED tasks, whatever side Easter eggs are on the map, I think all of them should just go past the 4 perk limit, because the 4 perk limit is only the ones you purchase, and then past that, any ones you purchase or basically get through the normal side Easter eggs that aren't TED tasks, it just replaces whatever the last perk you bought was. So if you went like Jug, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, Stamina Up, then if you buy a 5th one, it's gonna replace Jug, the next one's gonna replace Quick Revive, etc., etc. So for this one, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I would just have it consistently work with any and all free perk side quests, so that any and all of them can go past that perk limit. Now, next one we have is actually the one that was just recently found, the Samantha drawing. It took like 2 months to find it. This one is basically gun game. Every round, I guess every weapon in your inventory gets swapped with a completely different weapon. So this one, because this one is like a more fun relic, even though it is challenging, there isn't really a way that I could thoroughly provide like a rework. Now, the only one would be the actual gun game idea is like your gun swaps per certain amount of kills instead of just swapping every round. Either way, this is probably one I'm never personally going to use, but it is like one of those where it's meant to be more fun and like a challenge thing for like, let's see how far you can get. So this one I wouldn't really say needs a change, and if you think it needs one, I don't personally have one. So if you have any ideas, of course, drop them below. So the 8th relic we have, this is still in the Sinister tier, is the Focusing Stone. So this one is where no self-revive kit, so you don't spawn with one, nor can you craft any. So for this one, even though you don't spawn with any or you can't craft any, you can still get them through TED tasks and or zombies at random will drop self-revive kit. So this one, again, is one of those where I think it's a perfect challenge given the amount of ways you can honestly revive yourself in the game. If you have equivalent exchange on, or yeah, pretty much equivalent exchange, it's like free self revives, and even like the fox can revive you. I think you have to be able to go into last stand for that one though, but for this one, again, not much I could really change about this one. Now for this one, please correct me if I'm wrong. I could be very unlucky. I think the only times I ever get self revives is through TED task, and obviously very rarely through zombies drops. I haven't personally seen any side Easter eggs in which they drop self revive kits. So for this one, I would just, if they aren't already, again, I could just be very unlucky. Have self revive drop through other side Easter eggs like the plant side Easter eggs and other stuff. Again, I could be very unlucky. Another thing I would do for a relic like this is just have like maybe like a guaranteed side or self-revive side quest in every single game. This could be across standard and curse mode too, to where, like, you know, if you go down and lose your self-revive, there's like a side Easter egg in which you can just get a guaranteed self-revive, similar to how the Wisp Tea for Ashes of the Dam. Now that is used for the main Easter egg, of course, and then same with the same ghosts in Astra Malorum. They give you a free cryo freeze because that's required for the Easter egg. But along those same lines, what if there's like just a given Easter egg that gives you a guaranteed self-revive? I think that'd be cool to use, either like to guarantee your one for yourself at the beginning of a game, or you could use it like if you're like, hey, I'm like deep in the high rounds, I don't want to risk going for a TED task and I just went down. What if I just do the side egg real quick? So that is not really anything I would change. I guess the change would be, like, unless I'm really unlucky, I would have them start spawning through normal side quests, or each map could have like a guaranteed side quest for self-revive so that, you know, you can get one if you're like in a pinch. All right, next up we have the Spider Fang relic. This one is perk costs don't decrease. Now this one I actually just usually put on by default because this one doesn't really affect me, as I'm usually going for free Easter eggs anyway. Like, you know, my first few perks I'll like buy like essentials that I'm not getting through side quests. So like Ashes of the Dam, I usually get the free Juggernog. So besides that, I usually by default buy like Quick Revive or some other perks. But again, this one, if you don't already know, every time you buy a perk, so not including perks you get through side Easter eggs, the each next perk cost increases. But usually if you go down, then that resets if you lose all your perks. So it'll go back down, like if you lost all your perks, and it'll go back down to 2,500 as your first purchase. But this one, perk costs don't decrease, so once you reach whatever maximum cost limit it is, if you go down, lose all your perks, you got to buy every single perk at that cost limit. So this one we're not going to get into yet, but going into a few different augments that I'm going to be talking about later, I have a few interesting ideas on how to interact with other relics. But for the sake of this one, I wouldn't really change anything at face value for me personally, because there is so many ways to get free perks in the game, even with gobblegums and stuff like that. But there's plenty of side Easter eggs and stuff that I wouldn't really change anything about this one. I don't even have an alternative for providing a change. So we'll talk about how I want this to interact with some of the upcoming relics in just a few. last we have for the Sinister Relics is the dolls, the Matrishka dolls. So this one also has not been found yet. This is on Astra Malorum, but from what's been leaked, this one has it to where salvage drop rate is halved. So again, at face value, this doesn't sound too horrible. But because this game has significantly decreased the rate in which salvage is dropped already, having it halved does sound like it's going to be pretty annoying. So I'm just hoping this one isn't like too annoying. This was probably another one where I'll probably put on by default. The annoying part is because I usually play on tier 3 curse where you can get, so you need to be on at least tier 2, but tier 2 curse allows you to get ultra rarity on your guns. So this one's annoying because unless you're just like never spending salvage, most of the time you're gonna try to get that ultra rarity, and so the half salvage rate means it's just gonna take longer to get more guns at ultra rarity. But at face value, it does sound like it's gonna be pretty annoying. The only thing I would really change isn't with the relic, but I would just go back to where silencers or attachments, where they just rebuff the salvage rate. Maybe after this relic is fine or found, like maybe they'll go back and rebuff them. But as far as in game, like the salvage rate in game isn't too bad. Plus, there's plenty of way to get like salvage through side Easter eggs anyway. For example, Ashes of the Dam, you can get them through the green pods that you run over with Tessie, or you could get them through Chompy. So there's plenty of ways to get free salvage in the game, which is why I don't think this one's going to be too annoying. It might be annoying at first because you might feel like you have to consistently do the side Easter eggs, but again, because you kind of naturally get a lot of salvage anyway, I don't think this one's going to be a big deal. So again, at face value, because we haven't even unlocked it yet, I wouldn't really change much besides maybe just rebuffing attachments where salvage rate is increased. But that's as far as I would go with that. So that was the last of the Sinister Relics. Now we're going to be getting into the Wicked Relics. The Wicked Relics are the ones where I'm going to be offering some serious reworks, because a lot of these are just straight up not fun to use, or you'll probably just never use them outside of like a one and done challenge of, oh, I want to reach this round with this relic on, or I want to do the Easter egg with this relic on. But again, I'm going to be offering some serious reworks for a lot of these, and kind of the idea of what I want them to go with in the future of relics, because we're going to be getting presumably at least 6 relics each season, or for each new map. With Astra Malorum, they release 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it maybe was like one of each for each of the future maps with how hard they have been to find. But we're going to be getting a lot of relics, so I want there to be feedback on how they should be properly implemented to keep the health of the whole mode just pretty healthy going forward. So the first one actually is the Bus Relic. So this one is where enemy health regenerates. So I actually just got out of a game where I was using it. Now I feel like this relic would only be like really bad on boss fight runs. Probably never going to use this relic if I'm doing a boss fight, nor have I seen footage of people using this during the boss fight, so I'm not sure how bad it actually is. But I did maybe kind of notice, because I was using it on Ashes of the Dam, that the the bears sometimes take longer to kill if you aren't consistently shooting at them. So I don't know if anyone knows what the actual kind of rate at which they regenerate, like how fast they regenerate, when do they start regenerating. So this one, because it's hard to like really know the specifics, I wouldn't really offer much of a solution to reworking this. But I think at face value, again, I don't know what the how this specifically works, but if it is something where like enemies start regenning health instantly after you stop shooting them, obviously that's a problem. So there should be a bigger buffer between when they start regenerating health. Now I did see an instance in which Freckleston was streaming, and him and Zone X, I believe, they had all of the first 9 relics equipped, and they were on Astra Malorum. So I actually saw an instance in where this one was kind of a problem, where he had a legendary rarity Pact 1 Razor the SMG, and he was trying to shoot off the UFO off of Oscar. And it took him a whole clip plus like maybe half of his second clip to actually like destroy it, and he was only on round 11, so that seemed like pretty bad. So it does seem like they do start regenerating health pretty fast, and maybe they regenerate like a lot of health at a time. So obviously, one, I would put a bigger buffer, and two, obviously, if they're actively taking damage, I assume they're not regenerating health, but if they are, then they shouldn't be. But just to throw like a wrench out there, I would say kind of like maybe a good way to like utilize incentives for pack 2 or tier 2 and tier 3 tiers where you get ultra rarity and pack a punch 4. I think what if like there's just a secret like ability between one or the other where it might have like a heal cut ability. So what if you're using ultra rarity, it has some sort of heal cut ability where they just stop regenerating health again, or pack 4 has that built-in ability. It would give incentive of, you know, people maybe not only using this relic but also getting as high tiers when they're using them, just so like they can utilize like hidden benefits out of those. So I think that would be pretty interesting as a way to rebalance this. Again, we don't know the specifics on the rate in which they spawn, regen health, and how fast they start regenerating health. Maybe it can be estimated with the boss fights because they do have health bars, but I think a fun way to interact with this relic is either giving legendary rarity or the pack of punch 4 like a hidden ability that has like a heal cut ability where there's like a huge delay in when they start regenerating health. So that would really be my only maybe feedback slash rework for the bus relic. So the next relic we have is the Dragon Head. So this one actually is where ammo crates around the map are completely disabled. So for this one, I feel like it isn't too crazy of a relic. It is more in line with traditional zombies, but this is one of the ones where if you start pairing them with other relics like maybe Dragon Wings or even Mystery Box, it starts getting annoying because the only way in which you really can re-get ammo is if you're just pretty much using wall weapons and just be rebuying ammo off the wall. So I think this one would be interesting because this is another one where I think maybe you could rework it to where ammo crates are disabled, but what if like you increase the chances of max ammo spawning just slightly? Again, it doesn't have to be like crazy noticeable, but just slightly increase the chances. If I didn't explain it already, in Black Ops 7 they actually changed the way drops work. So before, they used to cycle each drop before you would get the same drop again, or just the same drop again. In this game, they drop at random, so they don't cycle at all, so you can get like 4 nukes before you ever see another max ammo. So unless I'm like really unlucky, I think they like decrease the rate at which max ammos do spawn, probably because of the Ravager rounds or just, you know, max ammo rounds you get anyways. But again, what if you had the ammo crate disabled through the Dragon Head relic, but what if max ammos are slightly increased? You increase the chances with the when they drop. Or what if like you pair this with the Dragon Wings, which disables normal power-ups, but what if they still have it to where like max ammos will still spawn even if you have the Dragon Wings enabled? Now, this one I don't think needs to be the case, because unlike the Gong relic, which is influenced by drops specifically in the full power up, this one is just more tied to ammo crates. And like I said before, this one is like more in line with traditional zombies, so I don't think it's like super duper hard or anything like that. Like I said, you can always still buy wall weapon ammo if you do buy wall weapon. So I don't think it has to be one that overrides the Dragon Wings. I'm just throwing that out there as like an idea. But I do like the idea of like max ammo are still like they have a chance to spawn slightly more than what they already do now, because again, they do just drop at random, so you could get like really unlucky. Like you won't see like a max ammo like for like a whole 10 rounds sometimes, it feels like, unless it's just through a Ravager round. So that's what I was like the change with that one. Alright, so for this next relic, we're actually going to be talking about some serious reworks on how I was mentioning earlier with a lot of relics are just not fun to use at all, and I feel like that's going to overall hurt the health of Curse Mode in the long run, because realistically, the idea is to, unlock as many relics as you want, equip different relics, have fun. But over time, with the more relics that are implemented, some of the more annoying ones and just not fun ones to use, people are just going to completely avoid using them, and then it's just going to make the experience a lot less diverse, because a lot of people are probably going to be running similar relics. So this one actually mentioned on Twitter to Treyarch. I was like, hey, with some of these relics, they're like really unfun. I want you guys to ask yourself, would you ever willingly run these yourselves? Because if not, you need to ask yourself why. Because if they're not fun, then they need to be implemented in a fun way. Because this game, again, is meant to be a hardcore mode. It's supposed to be meant to be hard, challenging, but a lot of these relics are just completely unfun, completely like, hey, don't ever use this besides doing like a one-time challenge thing. So we're going to get right into it. So the Blood Vials relic, this one is where augments are disabled. So just to keep this short, I used this once. I'm never using it again. You lose so many well, obviously augments give you a lot of power throughout the game, and this game was made to be balanced around you earning augments. So when you're stripped of all your augments, the game is not fun. You go down really easily. You do a lot less damage. Just overall, it's just not fun. So first and foremost, the change I'm going to be implementing mainly benefits perks. Unfortunately, it doesn't benefit other augments that you're using. But to start this off, I do want to mention that this goes back into the Spider Fang relic, and how I think that there's fun ways in which certain relics can interact with other relics. So again, by default, all augments are disabled, but I was thinking, what if they made it to where eternal perks in this game, if you don't know, once you get all your perks, once you get free perks again through mystery perks, they become eternal perks, in which you never lose those perks that become eternal, even if you go down. But what if eternal perks also give you the benefit of giving you the augments back on the perks in which you get an eternal perk for? So again, unfortunately, this isn't something that would benefit the other like field upgrades and ammo mods, but we're going to talk about that one in a second. But I think this would be a really important way to implement interaction, not only within the game, but within other relics, because obviously at face value, if something like that happens, you could just, get your eternal perks, and then you can get the benefits back. But if you run it with something like the Spider Fang perk, if you don't remember already, that one is where perk cost don't decrease. So by default, without this on, every time you buy a perk physically, not through free perks, the next perk that you buy costs more, but if you go down, then it resets. But with this one, if you go down, the perk cost doesn't decrease. So each time you're going to be spending more and more money each time if you go down. So that's why I say it creates a very interesting high risk, high reward, because you're going to be more incentivized if you run Blood Vials to buy perks outright, so that you can get eternal perks earlier. But if you go down, then that's going to create a high risk, because now you got to rebuy the perks at high prices. So again, at face value, if you weren't running the Blood Vials, then you're just going to be getting perks. You're going to buy what you need, but then the rest you're probably just going to be getting through free side Easter eggs for free perks. But again, this is one I think is really would be really cool to implement, because it'd be something that creates a sort of like a high risk, high reward relationship with other relics. Because if you had Spider Fang and Blood Vials on at the same time, you're going to be more incentivized. Instead of just waiting to get perks through free perks, you're going to want to be incentivized to buy them, so then you could get eternal perks faster. So that's the perk side of it, in which I think would be a really cool way to get those augments back. Now, another way that could either be implemented with this or just be a separate rework in itself is one that I saw from Expert Fusion. And basically the simple version is, even though augments are disabled by default, whatever items, perks, ammo mods, or whatever that you use, You just slowly implement, or you slowly get back the augments that you have equipped for those throughout the game. So, you buy Juggernog. The more you use Juggernog, then you get those augments back. Same for if you're using ammo mod like Shattered Blast. Same if you're using like Ether Shroud as your main field upgrade. So that would be like another way to either incorporate it with my idea or for it to be its own separate rework. Because as the Wicked tier being obviously the highest tier, it is meant to be harder, but I don't think challenge should just be taking away something that's fundamental to the game balance. So again, augments are fundamental to the game balance, and beyond using it for a quick challenge like a one-and-done challenge, most people aren't going to run this again. So I think that's a really cool way in which I don't think anything should be stripped without having a way to either challenge the augment or be able to like re-implement or get something back. For example, the ammo crates are disabled, but that doesn't mean you just can't get ammo back at all, because you just have to either go to a wall weapon or you just gotta maybe swap out your weapon, unfortunately. But again, you can still get weapon or ammo through like max ammos, especially if you don't have like dragon wings equipped. Even with dragon wings, even though normal power-ups are disabled by default, again, that doesn't mean you can never get them, because there's the side Easter eggs that give you the power-up drops, or you can get them through gobblegums and stuff like that. So again, I don't think they should make it a way in which like you can't get back what you're losing at all. Again, self revives, you don't spawn in with any, you can't craft any, but you still get them through side Easter eggs. Same with the 4 perk limit. Again, Wicked is supposed to be the hardest, so they're stripping away big fundamental things about the game, but I don't think that should just mean you can't get or earn something that's taken away back in some way. So I think again, you should be able to earn your augments back in some way throughout the game, because again, not only are you incentivized to getting it back sooner, or maybe there's just a hard cap on when you can actually earn augments back, right? So maybe like round 30 is when you get your perks back. Round 40 is when you get your ammo mods back. Round 50 is when you get etc back. You know what I mean? Or just whatever gaps. Like again, it should be something by default, but that makes the game harder. But you can have a way to challenge the augment by interacting with something in the game and in the world, so that you can kind of earn your way back up. So the next relic is another one that has not been found yet. It's the last one that needs to be found on Astro Malorum, along with the Matryoshka dolls and the Gong. For this one, it's a Wicked tier Golden Spork. So this is another one that I personally never see myself using, and I probably assume most other people are never going to use it, besides the few that love doing like one and done challenging, like, hey, I'm gonna get to round 100 using this, or I'm gonna do the boss fight using this. So the Golden Spork, this one, enemy damage is doubled. If you already don't know, zombies damage scale in this game. So earlier rounds they do less damage, later rounds they do more. Pretty sure they have a cap on them. I'm not too sure. I've only reached round 100 so far, and from like round whatever, like 40 or something, to like round 100, they seem to do the same amount of damage, but enemy damage is doubled. Now again, this one you would probably never use in your life unless you're doing like a quick challenge. So how would I rework this one? This one, I would just make it simple. Like, enemy damage is doubled. It sounds like it's going to be similar to older zombies where you go down in a couple hits, but the main difference is this game is reworked to where zombies not only move a lot faster, so there's a lot of super sprinters around 50 plus, as well as they swipe super fast. So this one, I would just make it simple. I would make them slower and or make their attack speed slower. So I would reduce their movement speed and or I would just remove or reduce their attack speed, because this is another one where like early rounds, like you're usually not worried in early rounds, because even though you're getting hit, like because of armor system and stuff like that, you're not really at risk of going down unless you get like cornered and like you run out of ammo or something. But if they do double damage now, then you're going to be more at risk, especially I assume that also counts into how much damage you're doing to your armor. So that's probably going to also double armor damage I'm not too sure, so we'll see how that works whenever it's done. But again, I would just keep this one simple, because especially at higher rounds, zombies are guaranteed to hit you in a train unless you're, have some really good strategy. Usually at higher rounds, people are running like trap strats, so they're probably not getting hit most of the time. But for people like myself, who I got to round 100 on both maps, just training around, I don't like spamming traps for the most part. I will if I have to sometimes, but I like having the traditional training. And then so if I'm training and zombies are doing double damage, and if you're training, zombies are guaranteed going to hit you, that's going to be very annoying because super sprinters are faster than you. So I would just I wouldn't even care about the super sprinting. I would just make their attack speed just halved. So I would do that, just keep it simple. Again, it'd just be more in line with classic zombies where they might down you in a few hits, but they attack noticeably slower. So that would be my main rework. And again, this is one of those ones where Treyarch need to ask themselves, hey, would you like willingly run this? They'll probably say yes, because most of the average players are only probably playing until round 40, around like 36 or 40. So by the time they're doing double damage, is probably not going to be enough to where you're going to notice them being that much stronger than you. But once you get to round 51 plus, where zombies are super sprinting every round, it becomes very annoying for high rounders. And even if I'm just hitting round 101 in X filling, which I don't, I try to go as far as I can, I would rather want to have a better time at higher rounds. So I don't want enemies not only being constantly on my tail, they're doing double damage. I would just make it to where their sprint speed and or their attack speed is slower. So last but not least, at least for the relics that we currently have in the game, we do have the Civil Protector. So this one I do have unlocked, but I personally have not equipped it yet, nor have I seen anyone really comment or use it themselves. So this one I'm going to be talking about, but I'm not sure how this specifically works. So the way I'm approaching this is just at face value, and the way I'm providing feedback for reworks is again through face value, which I would like to see change. So for the Civil Protector relic, this one is the last wicked one. This one is where perk decay per 100 kills. What that means is every 100 kills you get, you lose a perk. I think that at face value sounds very annoying. Again, I'm probably never going to run this, even if you're going to around like 40. I usually on survival, I usually play Cursed, but for survival maps I do for like XP and camo grind. So when you get to round 40s, you're probably getting around like 3,000 kills. So that's going to be very annoying because you're losing your perks like 30 times. That's not fun. I think quick maths is 30 times, right? So you're going to be losing your perks 30 times, and that means 30 times you have to rebuy them. So this also goes into the Spider Fang, where perks don't decrease whenever you have to rebuy them. So if you're running both of those, get ready to use the Akita all day, all night, because you're going to be spending a lot of money. So the rework I would provide for this, first and foremost, I don't know if it's already in the game, but I'm going to assume, again, this is just off face value. Now, I think straight up, perk decay should not apply to any eternal perks at all. So maybe that's already in the game. Again, I've tried asking on Twitter. It's not like I have a following or anything, so no one's responded. I've asked twice at this point, nor have I really seen any comments on perk decay not applying to eternal perks. So if they don't apply to eternal perks, I would just make it to where they apply it to eternal perks. So if you have an eternal perk, then you don't lose that perk. So that means if you get all your perks, eternal perks, then you will never get perk decay. So again, this is one of those ones where it's a challenge where you're risking losing your perks, but I think there should be ways in the game to challenge back, or fight back against the relic by being able to do something in the world in which that allows you to counter it or something like that. So again, if it already doesn't work that way, which makes sense if it does work that way where eternal perks don't count, but if it doesn't, I would have it not count. And I would have it not count. But if it also doesn't work that way, and they don't want to make it work that way, then easy. I would just say increase the kill count in which you start losing perk decays. So every 200 perks, again, I think it's pretty extreme. Again, this is mainly like catered towards people who don't go for high rounds and probably like exfil like at round 30 or 40. So they're not going to lose a lot of perks before they have to rebuy them, but you still have to rebuy them every single time. So I think a good other way to balance this is just change the kill requirement. I think at least 300 kills. So that way, again, once Curse Survival comes out, like if you're reaching like round 40, that's somewhere around 30 or 3,000 kills, give or take a few hundred. I think it's like closer to 4,000 if I'm not mistaken, but again, it's only 10 times you have to rebuy perks as opposed to the others. So again, this is another one again, which I think is pretty cool in interacting with something like the Spider Fang, because if it is made to where eternal perks don't count, then not only do that incentivizes you to buy perks sooner, so that you can avoid having to deal with the debuff of something like the Silver Protector. However, if you're trying to buy perks as soon as possible, but you go down, then that would make it a high risk in which you have to and if you go down, now you're rebuying perks at higher prices. So that's going to be obviously very annoying. So I don't know if there's like a cap to the perks don't decrease, or I don't know if it just keeps going forever, actually. I've never like looked at that really closely, but again, I think that's a good way for perks or relics to essentially synergize with each other, to where it creates like a risk reward relationship in which you're risking the drawback of something like the Spider Fang, but you're reaping the Spider Fang, but you're reaping the rewards of not having to deal with the Civil Protector, deal with maybe the Blood Vials if we did implement that. But then you also eventually wouldn't have to deal with the Spider Fang, because once you have all the maxed out Eternal perks, and you'll never have to buy a perk again anyway. So that would be the last wicked relic that I would rework as far as what we have available right now. So just a general recap on my general thoughts of the Black Ops 7 relics and just Curse Mode as a whole. I'm gonna be very honest. Curse Mode for me is like hands down saving my zombies experience. If this game was only standard mode, I probably would not have played it. I probably would have refunded it, or even if I wasn't able to refund it anymore, I would have long stopped playing. Curse Mode has been what saved this game for me. Multiplayer this game is this year very fun, but given all the dramas of skill-based matchmaking, people not playing the game, there's a lot going on with that. So obviously we're just talking about zombies, but for me as a big zombies player, my priority is zombies. Curse Mode has alone been the biggest fun I've had with Call of Duty in a long time. I will very much throw a hot take in here and say this game is very close to Black Ops 3 Zombies, and it has the potential to surpass it if kind of the general Curse Mode kind of sticks with the quality in which it's been. But I think the make or break for this mode is obviously the relics, because that's the whole foundation of the mode is the relic system. But I think for the overall health of the game, for relics and just zombies in general, for those people who love the Curse Mode or just want to have the diversity, I think they really have to reapproach relics in a big fundamental way. Even if you think wicked relics, oh, these are supposed to be really hard, then I think again you should just make it by default. You strip maybe your fundamental mechanic that makes the game fundamentally harder, but there's still a way to challenge or regain benefits or something that you lost, so it's not like a permanent loss or anything like that. Again, double damage, like why would you want to do double damage? Again, most people are probably going to be like, well, I don't go that high rounds anyway, so double damage probably isn't going to affect me, because until like round 50 they're not that fast enough to where it's going to really affect you. Cool, that's a really good argument. But then those people who do go for those high rounds, who aren't like hardcore players like myself, like I go for hard rounds, but I'm not trying to I'm never going to do like a knife only high round challenge or anything like that. So stuff like these high-end wicked relics are going to be very annoying, because then I gotta pair up all the grim or sinister relics, which are less game breaking, but they're a lot more tedious and annoying, but they're more bearable. And then the high end wicked relics are very hard, but they're also annoying and something like you don't ever want to. They're not like hard in an engaging way that's fun. So that's really what I want to see coming out of relics going forward. Is they're still hard, but they're engaging in a fun way that you can still do something in the world in which that you can get something back out of it, so where you're not completely dealing with the loss of whatever that debuff is. Again, I think that would help with the longevity and the health of the game, because then it would create more relic diversity, not just for myself, because I'm a solo player. I don't mind playing solo. I know a lot of people want Cursed Mode to become public and to be able to, equip relics in public matches. So that should be something that's an option for them. But you don't want to have like a Curse Mode playlist where these relics are equipped and then they're going to be relics that no one likes, and so they're not going to play that public mode. So then people are going to skip out on that. Or even people who are playing in private lobbies, if they don't have a lot of relics unlocked yet, they're just going to stick with what they have. And if the ones they have are the not fun ones, then unfortunately they got to stick with that. So I think that's very important to look at when it comes to relics. They need to be very engaging. They need to be hard, but they need to be engaging, which so you can interact with them in fun ways. Again, like augments are disabled by default, but you can earn augments back in some way, shape, or form. Enemy health is regenerates, but let's say like tier 4 Pack-a-Punch or Ultra Rarity, one or the other. Like, what if they have like a hidden heal cut ability that strips that health regen? Or what if you make a map that has a heal cut ability that specifically counteracts the bus relic if you ever encounter it? What if that even without the bus relic, what if that special enemy in that map has a health regen mechanic, so that they do have a heal cut wonder weapon of some sort? But then, since you already have a heal cut wonder weapon, what if you only use the bus relic for that map or something? Stuff like that you really got to think of when you're creating these games. And I think that would really help influence how people interact with these relics and kind of switch them up game by game. Because for example, really the way I approach relics is, am I going to do the Easter egg or not? Cool. If I am, which relics are going to impede less on my Easter egg run, right? And then if I'm not doing the Easter egg run, if I'm just going for high rounds, I'm more inclined to be loose with my relics, because if I'm just going for high rounds, I'm just focusing on killing zombies, so the relics aren't gonna impact me as much, right? So for example, the Mimic, the Lawyer's Pen, I'm probably not gonna ever use that on what's it called? I'm never going to use that on a Easter egg run again, but I might use it if I'm just doing normal high rounds, if I don't mind, dealing with mimics, or if I know, hey, I'm probably going to only go to round 40 or 50, I might equip the Lawyer's Pen. So again, you got to create scenarios in which people are like, hey, I want to approach the game this way, that isn't specifically, I want to do a challenge with this relic. But if I'm like, hey, I want to approach the game in this way, which relics could I switch up and use? And even if I'm like, hey, okay, I use this relic already in this run. Okay, I'm doing another high run again, but maybe I want to switch up my relics, because again, as of right now, I can't think of the exact values they give you for each tier for Curse Mode. But if I were to use a Wicked Relic, I'm probably going to use a Bus Relic going forward. If I'm not doing Easter egg runs, I'm just going to have that on by default. I might have the Dragon Relic on here or then. And then usually I just run like a Spider Fang as my Sinister, as my go-to. And then I usually run like Focusing Stone, no self-revives, because you can usually get those from TED Tasks. But I want to be able to want to say, hey, I want to use a different relic, but this relic isn't gonna like heavily impede on my game. So in closing, first off, I think they should evaluate how they approach future relics, But I also want to make this part really important because I think we should be very vocal about reworking some of these relics. If you agree with the ones I said, please say that you agree with them, not only in the comments below, but take it to Twitter. Say you agree with them, but I also want there to be a very big community discussion because going forward, I think we still have the chance, like if Treyarch were to relook at these relics, they're like, hey, okay, we agree some of these relics might be too annoying. Let's go ahead and rework some of them. I think Treyarch definitely has the ability to rework these before the game ends, especially if we assume, based off of leaks and rumors for future CODs, Treyarch probably isn't going to have another game until 2028. And assuming there's not going to be like a Zombies Chronicles 2, you know, there's been talk about, you know, this would be the perfect time for them to bring another one back or whatnot. But assuming they're not going to have anything like that, they already announced they're going to have 5 total DLC maps, including Astra Malorum. So I assume, this is again just an assumption, I assume what that's going to look like is seasons 1 through 5 each are going to release with a new map, and in season 6, since they're going to be focusing more on marketing for Modern Warfare 4 anyways, season 6 is probably just going to be a few limited time modes, a few more survival maps, and then just a bunch of last minute like content in the game. So that could be like, if we put enough noise into reworking relics, maybe come season 6 it could be like, hey, for season 6 we're just gonna overhaul all the relics on our way out the door, since, you know, next few studios are going to take over the next few COD games. We're going to be working on our next game anyway. Treyarch could be like, hey, we're just going to go ahead and rework all the relics for season 6 as a final thank you, and, you know, leave you with this, you know, go ahead and play with those, you know, whatever last minute grinding or stuff you want to do, go ahead and do that, stuff like that. So that's kind of my hope for relics, is not only am I making this video to kind of put out what I want what my idea for Cursed Mode and specifically the relic should be, but also in hopes that maybe they do rework these relics. I don't expect them to rework them anytime soon, unfortunately, but if there's enough noise, maybe again it could be like, hey, out the door of like season 6 we're just going to go ahead and rework a lot of the relics a lot of you guys have been talking about. So again, I want you guys to make your voice heard. If you agree with this, if you like my video, please put a thumbs up. Let's put this video, just, you know, put it out there. I don't want it to like blow up like thousands and thousands of views per se, but I wanted to at least get a conversation going for people to start talking about the relics and how they should be reworked. Again, if you like my ideas, please make it known. If you don't like my ideas, tell me you don't, tell me why, but also more importantly, put what you would do instead. If you want to keep them the same, say that you would rather keep them the same. Say that, hey, you agree with their philosophy, because if more people say that, then obviously that shows Treyarch that at least a vocal majority of those who enjoy Cursed Mode, they like the direction in which they're going, and which of course that could be a very fair thing, but if the vocal majority is like, hey, we don't like the way most of these relics are set up, change them, hopefully that could be a big change going into future seasons. So again, thank you if you've watched this far. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Please get your voice out there for the relics. See you on the next one. Have a great day.